Book of Lamentations is not something we often use in church. It's filled with depressing and frustrating words that can bring us down and make us feel sad or lonely. We often see worship as a place for inspiration and joy, which it is. But worship is far more than this. In the Book of Lamentations, as well as in many of the Psalms, we learn how to lament. To lament is to express grief or sorrow for something, to express regrets, annoyance, anger, disappointment about circumstances that we find ourselves in. I don't know about you, but I've definitely had some things to lament in my life. I mean, we're all living in an experience right now that we could use as a place and a time for lament. I've had things that have disappointed or frustrated me, both personally and about our world. Lamenting over these things is a way of being open and honest with God about how we feel. Whether that's directed at Him, as is the case in the Book of Lamentations, or directed at a situation or a problem that we're facing. My wife and I, Kat, we have led seminars on Psalm 85, which is a psalm of lament. And the psalmists, they direct the lament at God in this particular Psalm 85, saying, "Where are you? What's going on? Will you be angry with us always? Will you prolong your wrath to all generations? And won't you revive us again, so your people can rejoice in you? Show us your unfailing love, O Lord, and grant us your salvation." Now, this psalm was written at a time when the people of God were in exile. They were in a bad place. So they expressed themselves to God. They let Him know honestly how they felt and what they were thinking. Lament is a good thing to do, but it's important to remember that we cannot stay in lament forever. You can't linger in lament. Now, buried in Lamentations chapter 3, okay, so remember, this Book of Lamentations is a book about being open and honest with God, and the people of God are in a frustrating situation. But buried in the middle of Lamentations chapter 3, there's an amazing line that says this: "The thought of my suffering and homelessness is bitter beyond words. I will never forget this awful time as I grieve over my loss. Yet I still dare to hope. In the middle of my loss, in the middle of my grief, yet I still dare to hope." Lament is a pathway, not a cul-de-sac. Lament leads to hope. So what do you dare to hope for today? Lament your challenging circumstances. Yes, please do that. Be open and honest with God about how you are feeling, about what you are thinking, about what's going on in your own life, about what's going on in the world's life. But also, don't linger in lament. Go beyond lament and dare to hope. Dare to hope for God to move. "The thought of my suffering and homelessness is bitter beyond words. I will never forget this awful time as I grieve over my loss. Yet I still dare to hope." So whatever situation you are lamenting today, in the midst of all of this, dare to hope in a God who loves you, who is trustworthy, who is faithful, and who cares for you more than you'll ever know. Amen.